So many thanks. Let's just read you again that statement from Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, who says, following intensive talks, we are pleased to announce that the peace deal between the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran has been reached. Both sides have declared the immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts, including in Lebanon. The official signing ceremony will be on Friday, the 19th of June in Switzerland. With the agreement now in place, mediators will facilitate a series of meetings this week. These pre-implementation discussions will lay the foundation for the technical talks and the official signing ceremony. Let's go back to Washington at our White House correspondent, Kimberly Halkett. So despite what President Trump was saying, Kimberly, about the deal being signed sometime in the next few hours, it appears that that's been pushed back to Friday, this coming Friday, but at least the deal has been agreed between the two sides.
I have to put my reporter hat on right now, Adrian, and inject a bit of skepticism into all of this, that we as the media and the larger public are being played. And hear me out here. What has happened today, obviously, is that Donald Trump set a deadline for this virtual signing, which we know was literally blown up by the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. It appeared, at least, that this was a genuine attempt to derail the deal. Now, I've said before, this is quite a birthday gift, given this is Donald Trump's 80th birthday from his so-called friend. What this appears to look like is very fancy diplomatic language hiding the fact that this virtual signing is not going to happen today and is simply buying time of a few days more. And so what we have is the Pakistani mediators that have been playing a role in trying to get Iran and the United States to an agreement for quite some time are extending a bit of a diplomatic lifeline to this process, given the fact that the Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif saying there that there will be a series of meetings this week, pre-implementation discussions that will lay the foundation for the tech talks or technical talks, which is really discussions to get this memorandum of understanding really agreed to by Friday so that they can kick in the 60-day period following the signing of the memorandum of understanding that would ultimately lead to the nuclear agreement. That is the sort of how I am reading this as a reporter, given the fact that we also know that the U.S. president has said that this will be signed on June 19th in Switzerland, either by himself or the vice president, suggests that Donald Trump is now no longer seeing this as a virtual signing, wasn't able to achieve the virtual signing, and is pushing that deadline down the road and potentially even sending his vice president in order to not only participate in these so-called pre-implementation discussions, but also to get this to the finish line of signing the memorandum of understanding, which he says the White House reportedly has indicated to the Wall Street Journal is agreed to. But again, it's that all-important signing. And it appears that what's going on right now is that the White House, along with the assistance of Pakistan, is buying time in order to achieve that by saying that the official ceremony won't be till Friday. OK,
Kimberly, I may well be back with you. In the meantime, let's bring in our correspondent, Osama bin Javed, who's on the line right now with us. He's in Doha and possibly can give us some insight into this statement from the Pakistani Prime Minister, who appears, Osama, to be saying that there'll be more talks about talks before the agreement is signed.
Well, after what we saw the Israelis do this afternoon, where essentially all hopes were dashed and the deal felt like it was torpedoes and Iranians would react, it appears that Pakistan and Qatar, the two countries who've been in the mix of things, sticking their necks out, have been able to pull it through, albeit for a later date. It is not the virtual signing that the Americans had hoped for, but it is not the complete breakdown as was feared today. So once again, these really frantic mediation efforts have now been bearing fruit for a couple of times now. Remember, the the ceasefire that was announced initially when Bagher Ghalibaf and J.D. Vance met. And then the extension of the ceasefire because of these efforts that have been continuing. So it appears that now there is going to be a sigh of relief for all sides. There is going to be further detail that needs to be ironed out about the language. But this has also been made possible because the National Security Council in Tehran has, in fact, voted in favor of the negotiations. Now, it appears that now the Iranians have the backing of the hardline elements, which were so far opposing any deal with the United States. Still, there is a lot of mistrust between these two sides, but just the fact that there is an agreement now in place, which the National Security Council of Iran, Donald Trump, and is being announced by the Pakistanis while the Qataris were present in Tehran, kind of gives it more impetus than because we've been here so many times before, it gives it more impetus that there might be something in the offing which is more concrete and more reliable.
All right, Osama, let's just remind anyone that may have tuned in the last few minutes that Pakistan's Prime Minister has said that Iran and the US have reached a peace deal. He said, following an intensive talks, we're pleased to announce that the peace deal between the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran has been reached. Both sides have declared the immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts, including in Lebanon. But the official signing ceremony will be on Friday, the 19th of June in Switzerland. With the agreement now in place, mediators will facilitate a series of meetings this week. These pre-implementation discussions will lay the foundation for the technical talks and the official signing ceremony. Let's go live to